Hey beautiful people, my name is Kristen. Thank you for taking time to stop by my channel. Today I'm asking for your help to help me pick a couple of the books that I want to read in February. And then if you're also interested, I'm going to share the things that I will be reading. I usually generally try to do a classic and a nonfiction. So those are ones that I've definitely picked for sure. But up for grabs, I'm going to read one of these three fairly new releases. One is The Berry Pickers. This one is a story about a family that's like an immigrant from Canada down into Maine that are picking the blueberries, and their 4-year-old daughter goes missing, and it is, I think, told over quite a few, maybe even decades, a long amount of time, talking about these issues, this situation. I just feel like it would be a really poignant, beautiful book. It's gotten fairly good reviews, and some people have said that based off of my previous reading that I would particularly gel well with it. So Amanda Peters, The Berry Pickers. Another one is Julie Leong, The Teller of Small Fortunes. So beautiful cover. This is a book that is following a young woman who has kind of a sordid past. I don't think there's like anything really criminal, but some thievery and just waywardness and kind of lostness, and she's going along telling fortunes and comes across even, I think, some magical animals. I'm not sure if they're talking or they just have communications in some way, and she's on a journey quest kind of thing, and it sounds, from what I hear, very found family-ish. A little maybe cliche or too quaint, but it could be a fun little ride, and I think I might like that. So if you want to hear about that one. The last one up for consideration is The Lion Women of Tehran. This is by Marjam Kamali. Hopefully I've said that correctly, but this is set in Tehran. Girl has lost her father, and I think that the mom and dad were not originally together, so she goes to live with the mom in like a new area, and she gets acquainted with other young girls her age and starts learning more about society, the urban community, political things that are happening, and then she gets transferred back out. Her mom gets transferred back out, basically. She moves away again from this situation, and then she's somehow drawn back in or pulled into a situation. I'm not sure if it's the war or the politics or whatever, and to be honest, that's part of my draw of wanting to read this, is that I don't know a lot about the history and culture. So it would also be something else to learn about as a historical fiction kind of book. So there is that book. So tell me in the comments which of these I should read. I'm just going to read one of these three, and then the others will just sit on my TBR shelf for some other time in the future. And then, because it's February, I always like to read something that honors Black History Month, that teaches me something about that history, a new Black author, something along those lines. So at a library sale, I picked up a couple very popular, but I've never read them kind of books. I don't know that there are books I necessarily need to read, because I have at this point read several, but one is How to Be an Anti-Racist. And then the other one, we'll just put them both out together, is The White Fragility. So these two books had gotten a lot of hype, a lot of press, if you will, back when they were released, but they were ones that I had never read. Now they're showing up really, really inexpensive at library sales. So I could pick up one of those to read and just have that kind of continued dialogue and discussion. Also, for consideration, it's got a very shiny cover, so I'll try not to get the ring light thing, but Seven Who Fought. This is actually talking about church leaders that actually did try to stand up and support movement during the civil rights times. So that's very interesting because I'm also a churchy kind of person. And it could be that it's time for church people to stand up and do some fighting again. There's always human brokenness and issues to address. Also, this book by Eddie S. Glaude Jr., Begin Again. This is a book about James Baldwin. So I have read a couple of his books now, and I think that this would be a really good read, just to read about other Black authors and their struggle and how they have come to success, and maybe learning about some of those struggles or roadblocks helps us not only appreciate it more, but maybe play a part in the future of making it better, making it more equitable. And then finally, I picked this up at my used bookstore, supporting them. I think it was last year, maybe even 2 years ago, for Black History Month. They had this highlighted 100 African Americans who shaped American history. And it's just like little short, no more than 2 pages. And I just feel like this would be a really great book to pick up and just learn some new history and some more people that I don't know anything about. So those 5 books, I will read at least one. You can leave me in the comment which one you would be most interested in hearing my thoughts on or hearing a review on. And then I may even get to all of them if I have a banner reading month, but at least one. The nonfiction book that I will definitely be reading in the month of February is this one that I have been looking forward to so much. I wanted to read it back in November, and this is now my priority nonfiction for February, Dinner with the President. This is Alex Prudhomme. And so he was in charge of the kitchen, running the kitchen in the White House over multiple presidents, with multiple dignitaries, presidents and kings and leaders from all over the world coming in. And it's talking also about the fashion and the table linens and the actual food and pictures, and it's got the deckled edges that I personally am a fan of. And so I'm just really excited just to dig in and just spend time with this book, enjoying it for all of its beauty and goodness, and maybe recapturing a little bit of the spirit of the goodness of the White House and how things, can be, as far as breaking bread at table together and having conversations that matter. So, and that will be my prayer as I read this book, that legacy can continue. For classics, I have 3 actually that I'm, even though February is a short month, you'll see why. So first, I have a audio download of this going, Elizabeth Gaskell's Wives and Daughters. This is the novel that she was writing when she passed away. They say it was 90% finished, and then they kind of wrote a quick synopsis or some kind of conclusion based off of her notes, so you're not completely left hanging at the end of it. But I love that kind of Victorian writing style that's just very immersive in that time period and those social graces, and just kind of getting lost in that other world, if you will. And this is around a young girl, Molly. We follow her from very young to growing up, and she is very, very tied to her father, lost her mother. Her dad wants, obviously the best for her, but he's also overly protective and won't let her necessarily have fullness of education or opportunities that really maybe she should have. So she has this extra innocence about her into the world, and so we kind of view her world from that standpoint, particularly kind of sheltered in the regards of love and marriage and going into those issues, which looks like it's going to cause all kinds of problems and challenges, which you would think it would. Even today that would cause problems. Also for February, I really wanted to read another Maya Angelou. This one, even though it's called Singing and Swinging and Getting Merry Like Christmas, So originally I was thinking I would read this over Christmas time, but really when I started digging into it, the focus of this book is because all of her books kind of are autobiographical, talking about the realities of her growing up and things that she witnessed firsthand, if not herself, somebody that she directly knew. And so this is mostly focused on the time period of her life where she was married to a white man. And so I just think that this would be really good, particularly depending on what it is that I'm reading for Black history. Just that kind of, hopefully, what I'm hoping for is that we can, or I can, feel the progress that's made in interracial marriages, that we've made some progress, that we've made some adaptability to people loving who they love, and just supporting families, just of whatever they look like and whoever they are. And so that's one I'm definitely going to read in February. And then the last one I've really been wanting to read, this little one, is The Comet. It's just a very short, it's not even a novel or a book, right? It's like super short. It's more like an essay. But I've been wanting to read more W.E.B. Du Bois. So this is the one. And I think there's even like 3 or 4 pages of commentary on it. I don't even think the whole thing is even just the essay. So I thought, it's short, February's short, we're going to stick that one in there. So the audiobook of Wives and Daughters, and then that short little thing, and then one that's focusing on the interracial marriage. I think that's going to be great for the classics in February. So that's it, my nonfiction, my classics. And then you can leave me a comment below what you think I should read for kind of the new release, and then which one for Black history. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. You can also leave me in the comments what you're going to read for February. What's your top pick? I'd love to meet you in the comments. Like and subscribe. Talk to y'all soon. Happy reading.